You don't need to make Gervonta Davis against the guy who pumps my gas, and just because you need him to keep manufacture the star continuously. Like Gervonta's a very good fighter.
I mean, if he want to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. So I disagree with it. I think it's soft.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is facing criticism for some recent decisions that have hurt both his career and the sport of boxing. Many boxing experts believe he has great talent, but could end up as just another ordinary fighter because of his poor choices and lack of discipline. Some say Tank seems too comfortable with mediocrity, which could stop him from reaching his full potential.
The Gervonta Davis fight with Lamont Roach. Lamont's a good fighter. He's a perennial contender. He's been a contender for his whole career. I think he's been pro for about a decade. I can remember him all the way back in his Golden Boy days. Was, solid perennial contender. Always came up just a little short and then finally got over the hump.
The past few weeks have been rough for Gervonta "Tank" Davis. In December 2024, he shocked fans by announcing his retirement, then gave mixed signals about his fight with Lamont Roach Jr. Last week, he even had a social media clash with Terence Crawford. Tank is set to defend his WBA lightweight title against Roach on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And so far, there's no official news of a cancellation. He also hinted at announcing his next opponent, which could be a rematch with Ryan Garcia, who will complete his one-year suspension on April 20th after testing positive for Osterine in his fight against Devin Haney.
But that's on him.
You still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026?
I ain't gonna lie.
If Gervonta "Tank" Davis sticks to his plan of retiring after 3 fights in 2025, he will have 2 more fights left after facing Lamont Roach. If he picks Ryan Garcia, it would be a big money fight. A former 2-weight world champion recently criticized Tank, who is known for his explosive power, speed, and knockout ability, making him one of boxing's most exciting fighters. He became a world champion at just 22 and has held titles in the super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight divisions, defeating top fighters like Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Rolando Romero, and Ryan Garcia. As of 2025, he remains undefeated, but hasn't been very active, with his last fight being a win over Frank Martin in June 2024. Fans are eager to see him in big fights, including possible unification bouts with Shakur Stevenson or Vasily Lomachenko.
Lomachenko?
Very skilled and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and his power is...
Speaking to Fight Hype, Paulie Malignaggi criticized Gervonta "Tank" Davis for choosing what he sees as easy opponents, reacting to the announcement of his fight against Lamont Roach, a super featherweight champion moving up in weight for the challenge in March. Malignaggi said if Roach had defended his title 4 or 5 times at 135, the fight might be more interesting. But instead, he feels Tank is just recycling the same champions without real progress. He believes this hurts boxing and is only about making money, saying he wants the best matchups and won't be excited by what he calls B-level fights, even if they are pay-per-views.
That a python is a dangerous animal. And I gotta see a python take on an alligator. I'll say, okay, well, why do I gotta watch a python taking on a turkey or a rooster or a chicken? Why do I gotta watch that? I already know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's a slaughter, right? That's a slaughter.
While some may not be happy with the main event, the undercard in Brooklyn offers exciting fights. WBA super lightweight champion Jose Valenzuela will defend his title against Gary Antoine Russell, while WBC super lightweight champion Alberto Puello will face Sandor Martin. Gervonta Davis has announced he will retire at the end of the year, and fans, along with Paulie Malignaggi, hope he makes his last 12 months count. Meanwhile, WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson has surprisingly changed his opinion on Tank's retirement plans.
But you know what? You would give it a Nile River crocodile or alligator, and when I confuse alligators and crocodiles, but whatever. Give it a Nile River alligator, and
In December,
WBA lightweight champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis surprised fans by announcing his plan to retire after 2025, citing frustration with boxing politics. He confirmed his disappointment with the sport and said he will retire after his next fight on March 1st, 2025 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. where he will defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. The fight was originally set for December in Houston but was postponed for undisclosed reasons. This bout could be Davis's last chance to prove his dominance in the lightweight division before stepping away from boxing.
Python, all right, bro, you know, you got me interested. You're like, all right, bro, let's see who wins this. You know what I mean? They fight, you know, obviously we're not fighting to the death in boxing, but nonetheless intrigued me.
Gervonta Tank Davis's decision to retire at the peak of his career has shocked the boxing world and sparked mixed reactions. While some criticize him for leaving during his prime, he remains one of the most charismatic and talked about figures in boxing. Known for his aggressive style and knockout power, he has proven himself as one of the sport's top fighters. As his retirement nears, discussions about the legacy he will leave behind are expected to be a major topic in the boxing community.
I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there and chase you and then...
Shakur Stevenson told Fight Hub TV that he disagrees with Gervonta Tank Davis's decision to retire, calling it soft, but saying it's up to him. He made it clear he won't chase Tank for a fight, but is ready if Davis is willing. Stevenson also said he won't let Tank make it seem like he needs him, because he doesn't. If Davis retires without facing Stevenson, boxing will miss out on one of the most highly anticipated lightweight fights in years. Meanwhile, Stevenson is preparing for his upcoming fight against rising prospect Floyd Schofield Jr. on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You know, he could try to make it seem as though I need him and I don't need him, so...
For now, Gervonta Tank Davis seems determined to retire in 2025, aiming to secure his legacy as one of the best fighters of his era. However, fans still hope he will give them some exciting fights before he leaves the sport. Former 4-division world champion Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts, suggesting that Tank should go for a unification fight against Vasily Lomachenko instead of facing Shakur Stevenson, as it would be more exciting. Garcia praised Stevenson, calling him a great fighter with incredible skills, footwork, speed, reflexes, and counterpunching ability, but believes the Lomachenko fight would be a bigger event.
I'll tell you why. I'm not a big fan of that fight. Now, I do believe Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter as well as skills go. He's got the skills. He's got the talent. He's got the skills. Great boxer.
Despite the praise for Stevenson, Mikey Garcia said he wouldn't want to see him fight Davis because Stevenson would just box instead of going all out like Lomachenko. Garcia added that he would rather see Tank face fighters like Lomachenko, who, despite having great footwork and speed, is always ready to fight. He believes a fight with Stevenson wouldn't be as exciting for Tank, since Stevenson sticks to his boxing style no matter what critics or fans want. It's unclear if a fight between Davis and Lomachenko, now 36, is still possible, especially after their planned matchup last November fell through.
Because Shakur Stevenson is the kind of fighter that he's gonna fight his fight regardless of what the critics or fans or anybody wants to see. He's gonna fight his fight, which is fine. That's his style. He's gonna be boxer.
Vasily Lomachenko, a 3-division champion and current lightweight title holder, has yet to defend his belt 8 months after winning it from George Kambosos Jr. with an 11th round stoppage. He missed the 60-day medical extension deadline on January 11th, leading the IBF to order Raymond Muratalla and Zaur Abdullayev to fight for an interim title. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson is preparing to defend his lightweight title against Floyd Schofield on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but has faced criticism for his overly defensive style in wins over Edwin De Los Santos and Artem Harachunyan. Mikey Garcia believes Stevenson will need to adjust his approach if he wants a fight with Gervonta Davis.
He's got the talent, he's got the skills, great boxer, super talented with footwork, with speed, with reflexes, counter-punching ability. He's one of the very, very best. But I'm not a fan of that fight.
Mikey Garcia believes a fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson wouldn't be very exciting and thinks Stevenson may struggle to get big fights because of his style. Garcia said Tank shouldn't fight Stevenson or anyone who isn't a serious threat for now. However, before considering fights with Lomachenko, Stevenson, or others, Davis must first defeat Lamont Roach on March 1, 2025, in Washington, D.C. Garcia is confident that Tank's experience, skill, and power will be too much for Roach, who is moving up to 135 to challenge him. He probably will win this fight as well, Garcia said. The biggest names in boxing attended the London Ring Awards, but one noticeable absence was Gervonta "Tank" Davis. The Ring Magazine Awards brought together top fighters, but Davis, despite his unbeaten record of 30 wins with 28 knockouts and his recent retirement announcement for 2025, was not present. He may not have been invited due to his strained relationship with Riyadh Season and Turki Al-Sheikh, who also owns Ring Magazine. It seems the lightweight champion wasn't happy about being left out of the event. Gervonta "Tank" Davis expressed his frustration over being left out of the Ring Awards through several posts on his X account, which he later deleted. However, Terence Crawford took the opportunity to mock him, leading to an ongoing social media dispute that continued until Tuesday. Davis had slammed both the organizers and attendees in his deleted posts, and while the exact reason for his absence from the event is unclear, it seems he is not on good terms with the Riyadh Season team. His frustration eventually got a response from Crawford, adding to the tension. Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Terence Crawford have been at odds for some time, often exchanging taunts. Reports suggest that Crawford, who recently met with Turki Al-Sheikh, might be closing in on a big fight with Canelo Alvarez later this year. Taking a jab at Davis, Crawford mocked him, saying, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine gala. I remember being left out. That's why when they let me in, I crashed the party," followed by laughing emojis. Although Davis deleted his posts, some users managed to save them, showing why Crawford responded with a taunt. Although Gervonta "Tank" Davis deleted his posts, some publications managed to report on them. In his posts, Davis questioned why not everyone was invited, saying, "But they invited people they deal with. Get out of here, stop bum eating." He then appeared to take a shot at Eddie Hearn, calling him a little rat, and suggesting he now thinks he's important. Davis also challenged the invited fighters to face each other, since they have a strong lineup. He then turned his attention to Turki Al-Sheikh, first urging the guests to fight among themselves, and later criticizing the Sheikh, claiming he knows nothing about boxing. In one of his deleted posts, Gervonta "Tank" Davis criticized the head of Riyadh Season, questioning why people act like he is good for boxing when, according to Davis, he knows nothing about the sport. Davis argued that if he were really good for boxing, he would be developing fighters from his own country. He repeated that the man has no real knowledge of boxing and expressed frustration that people are turning to him for influence in the sport. Davis went on a rant about how, unlike him, many fighters leave America to make money but end up fighting in front of small crowds. His dispute with Terence Crawford continued until Tuesday, seemingly because Davis bragged about having more money than Crawford. In response to Crawford's taunts, Davis, in now deleted posts, called out Bud over how much money he actually makes. Davis claimed he still makes more money than Crawford and accused him of chasing greatness just to earn decent pay. Crawford fired back, saying that being rich isn't just about having money, but making smart investments and staying debt-free. He challenged Davis, saying, "You can't buy anything I can't buy, and that's a fact. Let's see who has money that lasts longer." Davis responded with insults, keeping the feud alive. Fans may find this exchange interesting, especially since last year, during the Lamont Roach press conference, Davis shocked everyone by announcing he would retire from boxing by the end of 2025. If Davis plans to retire soon, some might wonder why he cares about not being invited to the event. However, this isn't the first time Terence Crawford has taken a shot at him. After defeating Errol Spence Jr. and becoming an undisputed champion, Crawford heard Davis claim he could beat him at 147 pounds, adding to their ongoing rivalry. Speaking on The Breakfast Club, Crawford acknowledged Davis's skills, but made it clear that boxing has levels. He dismissed the banter, saying if Davis moves up to 147, thinking he can just knock him out, he's in for a surprise. While a fight between the two may never happen, Crawford has his sights set on one opponent, Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis have fought in the same weight classes before, with Crawford starting at lightweight, where Davis is currently a world champion. Crawford later became undisputed at super lightweight, a division where Davis also won a title. Crawford has since moved up, dominating the welterweight division and making his debut at 154 pounds last year, while Davis remains at 135, holding the WBA world title and continuing his knockout streak. Davis has previously said he could knock Crawford out, possibly as a joke, but the bigger fighter has warned him not to take on more than he can handle.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about, everyone's talking about Errol fighting.
While a fight between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis is unlikely, some believe it wouldn't be one-sided. In an interview with Real Life Productions, multi-division world champion Roy Jones Jr. shared his thoughts, saying it would be a great fight if they met just below the welterweight limit. He believes Crawford is tough to beat unless facing a much bigger opponent, but also warned not to underestimate Davis, suggesting that a fight at around 145 pounds would be highly competitive.
But Crawford, on the other hand, I don't see nobody around that's gonna beat Bud unless somebody way bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that
Roy Jones Jr. believes both Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis have high boxing IQs, but what sets Davis apart is his explosiveness, something Errol Spence lacked. He explained that an explosive fighter can go far in boxing, just as he did in his own career. While Crawford is aiming for a fight against super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, which would require a 14-pound jump, Davis is set to face Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st at the Barclays Center. Davis said, according to his latest press conference, Davis still plans to retire at the end of the year.
if him and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good daggone fight. You understand me? Matter of fact, I'm gonna say that's a good damn fight. You understand me? Because they both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive. See, that's the one thing Tank got there.
While Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are set to fight, Gervonta Davis has now joined the conversation. The 2025 boxing schedule has many exciting fights that fans are looking forward to. One of the most awaited matchups is Shakur Sugar Stevenson against Gervonta Tank Davis, which has been delayed even though it seemed to be arranged with Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn. Davis's co-trainer, Kenny Ellis, accused Stevenson of being a coward, saying that even if he wins his next fight, he will still hurt his hands. Ellis mentioned that this is what happens when someone is trying to buy time. For the latest updates on boxing news, events, and highlights, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our great content. Until next time, peace out.